The truth is, there are some really bad employers to work for out there. Not only have I personally been there and worked for that, I speak to job seekers all the time, and some of the situations that job seekers are trying to get out of are crazy. So instead of trying to land your next career role in one of these bad companies, let's talk about 8 red flags that you can avoid and really pick up on in the interview process so that you can be on your merry way to a great career offer and company to work for today. And by the way, I'm not just chat GPTing these 8 red flags. I'll be bringing forward these red flags from 11 plus years of HR and recruiting experience, plus my own, and just knowing what makes a good business and what truly doesn't. So I really hope this video is valuable to you. Let's dive into red flag number 1, a disorganized or unstructured interview process. Look, I think it's safe to say that if an interviewer is disorganized, they forget your name, they miss appointments, they're extremely late to interviews, then this could be a major red flag that leads to disorganization in the workplace in general, or really shines a light on somebody being overworked and not having a realistic workload in general. And don't get me wrong, people do make honest mistakes. So hopefully this just isn't a pattern throughout that interview process, because if it is, again, red flag. But this really could be an indication that they are just not up to snuff and they don't have their ducks in a row. And this could also just be a major indication of not having tight processes and systems that lead to an organized job search process for candidates. So hopefully this isn't a pattern. It's not something that continues to happen in this company, but if it is, then really consider, is this a company you want to work for? By the way, if you're new here, hey, what's up? My name is Courtney, and this channel is all about leveling up in our career and life. So if you're new here, consider subscribing below and joining the community. And if you're not new here, then welcome back. Red flag number 2, they have no onboarding plan for you. Oh wow, does this one ever hit home for me? Not only can I not take the credit for this one, I actually have to give it to my fiance because he witnessed me being onboarded in a company that had no onboarding plan. In fact, all that happened in the first day, 1 week, and first month is I was given my laptop, an office, and told to just figure it out. No job description, no one-on-ones, no training, nobody to show me the ropes, and my gosh, did it ever lead to disorganization and just a clear indication that I don't even know if they really wanted me there. So if a company cannot speak in an interview clearly to what the onboarding plan would look like for you, then it is a red flag. And as a job seeker, you should be asking about the onboarding plan. I'm personally really impressed when somebody asks me that question, and I always make sure that I have asked my hiring managers that question beforehand so that I can speak to it properly, because I want job seekers to feel like we are prepared for them and that we're planning for their arrival and that they will get sufficient training throughout their first 30, 60, 90 days. And that is something I now do as an HR professional, is I have a proper, strong training schedule prepared for any new hires, and they have pre-booked meetings with the people that they are onboarding with. So this is a really big green flag if a company is prepared for your arrival and they can speak to a training plan. Be sure to ask for it. And it is a red flag if they have no idea how to answer that question. Red flag number 3, there is no mention of any values and how they truly live and breathe those values. So core values can often have a really negative connotation online or in the business world in general, because sometimes companies create these values, they stick them on the wall and they put them on paper and they never actually live and breathe them out. But to me, core values are so important, because not only should you be hiring by those core values, firing by those core values, and promoting people that demonstrate really strong core values, but they are also truly one of the biggest success recipes to business in general. Values are a common set of beliefs, traits, and ethos within an organization. And if a company A doesn't have any at all, and B, they don't actually live and breathe breathe those values, then what are they even doing? Are they just flying by the seat of their pants? So if they have no values at all, and I have worked for companies that had no values, I did my best to really integrate some or create some with the executive team, and it just kind of fell flat, then this can, in my opinion, be a red flag. Core values are truly important, and make sure you ask about them, see if they have any, and are they truly living and breathing them. Red flag number 4, overemphasizing the word family, yet they can't speak to their leadership, their culture, or their employee engagement at all. Honestly, I think this one speaks for itself. Your coworkers are not your family. Do you hire, do you fire, and do you promote your family? Well, I guess sometimes, but in general, no. So of course, sometimes your coworkers can become like a family member. You get really close with them sometimes, but it is important to remember that this is the workplace, and maybe you should be asking about what is their culture instead, and can they even speak to that? Or is their culture simply just ordering pizza every 2 weeks, and they can't speak to what their leadership styles are, or what their overall culture feels like? How engaged are their employees? Or do they just say, oh yeah, we're a family, and that's it? So yeah, do your best to get a pulse on what does family mean to them, or do they have these other core pillars that are more important than that word alone. Red flag number 5, they don't mention any growth plans or stability within the organization. So the truth of the matter is, after 2020, the economic conditions and business landscape has not been great. There are a lot of layoffs, there's a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace in general. So if a company doesn't have any plans to grow or retain what they have currently, or if they start mentioning past things about layoffs, or they don't really want to grow and develop as a company, then those might be some clear indications that they're just not a stable company to work for. I mean, for me, when I work in great companies that have good plans for strategic growth and they want to expand and they're very stable, then we are really clear about that in the interview, because it's an attractive thing to say to candidates. I mean, who doesn't want to avoid layoffs and know that they will have a job in 1 year or 2 years from now? And I know this can be a tricky thing to ask about in an interview. Like, how do you go about just asking, do you have growth plans? Well, that could be just how you say it, is what are the company's future plans? How do they plan to grow? What are their goals? So asking about it, I think, is actually a really important thing to do, because if they are talking about good growth plans and how they haven't had a lot of layoffs and that they are incrementally growing or developing, then these are green flags that likely you won't be laid off in the near future. Red flag number 6, unclear or unattractive compensation. So if the interviewer or the hiring manager is very hesitant to share anything about salary or salary ranges, compensation benefits, or benefits in general, then this might be a clear indication that A, they just don't fully know what they have to offer candidates, or they're below market value. Transparency on compensation in this day and age is not only the norm, but it's actually becoming a legal requirement. So a lot of states in the US and a lot of provinces throughout Canada now have pay transparency acts, where they require companies to actually disclose in their job postings and with internal candidates what the job pay ranges and grades are for certain roles. So if an employer you're interviewing with them and they are not clear and transparent on that, then that might be a red flag in itself. Why don't they have grades or ranges? Why aren't they clear on what they can offer candidates? Of course, everything depends on somebody's skills, experience, and competencies, but there should be some kind of starting point. And if they have no idea or they're very secretive about that, then I would just be really weary or cautious. Red flag number 7, pessimistic or unenthusiastic attitudes of the interviewers. I mean, I think this is pretty clear. If somebody is interviewing you and they seem really miserable, they're negative, they don't speak highly about the people that they're working with or the company itself, then red flag for sure. Why do they not feel very positive about working there? And also, how does that speak very highly about the standards of the employees that the company actually hires themselves as well? And don't get me wrong, everybody can have a bad day. So hopefully you can pick up whether somebody is absolutely miserable in their job or they're just simply having a bad day. I know that's not always easy to do, but if somebody just seems so miserable and negative and they could care less about even speaking to you, or they don't have any joy in their voice at all, then really reflect on that. And is that something that you want to be or be a part of? Red flag number 8, when the reporting structure simply doesn't make sense. Oh boy, does this one ever hit home for me. I can think so clearly about a company that I worked for that had a very unclear reporting structure for myself, and it just didn't make sense at all. In fact, at one point, me as an HR professional was reporting into operations. Okay, they didn't really know what I was doing, but okay. And then to make things worse, I actually got an email one day saying I now report to a consultant, and a consultant that didn't even work at the organization. They just came in here and there. So it was a huge red flag to me. I think that business owners and senior leaders should know what function makes sense to report to, and there should be a good organizational structure. So if they have no idea who you should report to and they just simply throw you at the wall and hope that you stick, well, this is a major red flag. Take it from myself. I remember this feeling like no other. I felt like I didn't fit, I didn't belong, they didn't care about me. So I hope that from me to you, that doesn't happen to you. Ask who you will be reporting to. Ask about that leadership style of the person. Make sure that you ask good questions, because honestly, this makes a huge difference in your experience in that organization and just how much you will even be respected too. If people have no idea where to stick you, well, red flag for sure. Okay, I hope this video helps you. If it did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe below. And also, if you are in the market for your next career role, then comment career role below. I would love to have even a conversation with you, or just give you some good tools to land your next career role. That's what this channel is all about. So comment below career role. I would love to chat with you or give you some great tools to help you land it faster. Thank you so much for tuning in, and for this next video, be sure to watch it. It is all about your coworkers are not your friends. So be sure to tune into this next video, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much.